Welcome back to Art of Awakening, jumpstarting your divine genius and your spiritual superpowers so that you can leave behind those dark nights and create your own bright day of the soul. All right, so this is, yes, I am Ona Christie. If you don't know me already, welcome. And this is absolutely, I think, what a lot of us have been waiting for. We're just about to head into a brand new year, brand new decade. 2020 is nearly upon us as I record this. And I'm going to do a pretty extensive forecast for 2020 using the spirit animal cards. I'm going to be using 3 decks. One is Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Oracle. The second one is Susie Green's Animal Messages deck. And the third one is my own Spirit Animal Awareness Oracle card deck. I'm going to be drawing one each of these cards for each month. So it will be kind of extensive. So if you are ready for this, you might want to just pause this video, get yourself a nice cup of tea, and slip into something cozy. And we're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Just a couple of thoughts about this moving into this new decade. I'll keep it quick because I know this is going to be a rather long video with all the months that we're going to need to go over. But so I know most of us are pretty aware right now that this is a pretty massive change. This is really a monumental kind of shift that we're making here from this decade to the next. And that we're really stepping into a new decade of light. A lot of us are really stepping into our calling, and I'm going to expect to see a lot of really amazing people stepping forward in this coming year. And, you know, whoever you are, wherever you're at, I think we can expect to see some pretty awesome changes. Couple words that my guides are asking me to relay to you. One is that, as we know, anytime that we are making changes, things shift. And also that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You know, the whole law of physics that, yes, we can expect as we start shaking things up internally, and as a lot of us start bringing those internal changes that we've been working on for many years, many of us, and starting to bring those into the world. And we're going to see some massive changes when that happens, that it will stir stuff up, and that maybe some forces of darkness or whatever are probably not going to like it. They're probably going to, you know, respond. So just so that we're aware of that's normal. So if you do see, you know, stuff like that happening, it does not mean that we're sliding back. It means that we're simply digging up deeper layers of stuff that needs to just come up. And, you know, that's par for the course, right? So don't get discouraged if you see that. They want me especially to let you know that light is stronger than dark. It is vastly stronger than dark, okay? So each one of us that is starting to really radiate from our heart, from our higher self, and really step out there, step into our truth, and start acting on it. Each one of us has a lot of influence. Even if it doesn't seem like you're being called to do something that is influential, even if you're just being asked to go meditate in the woods, whatever that you're asked to do, know that it does have a big impact, okay? More than you would think, because as we awaken, as we activate these higher vibrations, that's really like the higher vibration, just a little bit goes a long way, okay? It can influence those lower vibrations quite a lot. So just feel, you know, just know that you do make a difference, okay? And the other thing that they wanted me to relay is that this change of the changes that we're looking at, it does not have to be hard. It does not, I mean, yes, there's going to be some hardships. I mean, change is never really easy, but it does not have to be really difficult, okay? It does not have to be bloody. It doesn't have to be all these things that I think a lot of people are afraid of, right? It does not have to be like that, okay? Remember, South Africa, right? Where it was almost like, how is that ever going to change? And it did peacefully, right? To remember the Berlin Wall coming down, and it happened peacefully. There's, things like this are happening in history, and these, like in prior centuries, that would never have happened peacefully. Okay, humanity really is evolving, and the changes that we're looking at, we're probably going to be looking at crumbling of a lot of very entrenched interests. Does not have to happen at the expense of a lot of people's lives or happiness or whatever. Okay, and the thing that they want me to really tell you is that the more we envision things happening, unfolding peacefully and with ease, that visioning of ours, and just really intention that this stuff can happen, it can flow, it can happen easily, it can happen peacefully. The more we keep that in mind, the easier and more peaceful it's going to be. Okay, so there's going to be fear mongers, and there's going to be people who are freaking out and so forth. Just keep your eye on the light. Keep, just really feeling into what's true, what feels true for you, and know that the more we intend and envision beautiful change, the more likely and the more easily that beautiful change is going to happen in beautiful ways, in ways that are surprising. Another thing is, like, we are likely to see a lot of surprises in this, especially over this coming decade. So look for those and be on the lookout for just the beautiful changes that are happening, right? Because the more we really focus on those, that brings the energy into that direction. All right, so with no further ado, I'm gonna pause here, change the camera, because we're going to be really focusing on the cards, and we'll just go ahead and do that forecast for the year. Any of that. So we're going to kick off here the 2020 with January or Capricorn, and starting off with the Colette Baron Reed deck. I'm just trying to pull a card from this one. It can be a little difficult to shuffle sometimes. And we'll start with this. Okay. Ooh, wasp spirit. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of us have come through a rather trying year in 2019. And there may still be some of that hanging out from 2019. A lot of clearing out. So wasps, you have to understand about wasps that you can literally, like, if a wasp is buzzing around, I used to have an enclosed glass porch, and we'd sometimes get wasps in there. And if they're just buzzing around and they're trying to find their way out, or if they're not actually, their nest isn't near, they can be extremely docile. Now, you have to be really aware and feel into the energy of them. But a lot of times people freak out when they see a wasp, and then they get all upset, right? And then it gets the wasp upset because they're sensitive creatures, and they can sense if people are upset, right? And so I think a lot of people probably get stung by wasps really unnecessarily, because they're reacting to seeing the wasp, right? And projecting that the wasp is dangerous and it's going to sting. So, of course, there's an old saying, thoughts kept in mind produce after their kind. So the thing with a wasp is to treat it with respect, okay? And that includes people that we know. Some people can be, set off pretty easily. Or within ourselves, sometimes we've got those little angry parts of ourselves, but remembering that they're there, the reason that they get angry, wasps anyway, is just to defend themselves, right? And if you can just become very, very still and quiet and calm, and just come to that place of stillness inside. I have actually gone up to a wasp multiple times, okay? This isn't just once. And you can actually put your finger down in front of them and have it climb on, and just very calmly carry it outside. and they're fine. I'm not suggesting that you should do this unless you feel really confident in it. But I'm just saying that not everything that has a stinger is going to sting. A lot of it has to do with how we approach it and our own inner state of being. So, yeah. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go through, especially in this transition period, which January still is, right? Into 2020, is that volatility, the potential for volatility is there, but the more we keep our own inner peace, the more it's going to be just fine. Okay. So next one for January, or Capricorn season, is Chameleon. All right, so she says, conceal ambition with patience until it's time to make your move. So patience is one, which is a probably good counsel, right? Going into, again, we've just had a lot of changes, and whether or not you're trying to make an impression on anybody or whatever, just even within yourself, sometimes we get so eager to jump forward, especially with this great big new year, new decade coming up. The caution is to just wait until it's time, okay? It doesn't all have to happen at once. It's a long year ahead. It's a long decade ahead. We've got plenty of time. So and also look at the chameleon, just really, it's got this long tongue. It spits it out and catches flies, but it's got these two little eyes that go in both directions. So a lot of this is really about being awareness and really putting your eye on your target, making sure that you're targeting something that is the right thing to target, and then waiting until the moment is right. And also not necessarily to be crazy. Watch who you're talking to about your goals, because some people will actually, whether it's intentional or not, pour water on your fire sometimes. So just be careful, like before, when things are still premature, just be really, really careful who you're telling people, who you're telling about your dreams. Some people will be very, very supportive, but others will maybe not be such a supportive thing. So, all right, so the last one here is Otter. What am I getting for Otter? Looking at between these three, I'm just getting this image of the otter just kind of in its nest. If you've ever gone to the zoo or something and seen a family of otters, they just love to sleep in a great big pile. So what I'm hearing here is just find kindred spirits. This is a good month to find your tribe, to really settle down and get cozy with those who really have a similar purpose as you, and maybe a similar worldview, those that you're really comfortable with. Spend time with those people, right? Those are the ones that are going to actually support your dreams, right? And not be a wasp, right? So there's going to be people that are like, I think this is really, the whole thing is saying, just be very, very mindful about who you're hanging out with, who you are choosing to spend time with, who you are choosing to confide with, who you might be choosing to partner with. Just look at the difference between wasp and otter, right? Otter is just having a ball playing, kind of soft and fuzzy, where the wasp is, well, we all, have feelings about wasps. A wasp can work very, very well. Like it is a communal animal, and it works very well with people, right? And if you're on that wavelength, you know, that might be a good place for you to hang out. But for a lot of us more fuzzy people, if you're feeling a little bit more warm and fuzzy in the heart, you know, just really be aware of what kind of energies you're hanging out with. All right, so let's put January aside here, and let's draw some cards for February or Pisces season. And so being as Pisces season, or no, I'm sorry, not Pisces, because that's the reason I'm saying is because I'm a Pisces. I was actually born in February, but I was an early Pisces. So we're actually looking at Aquarius season moving forward. This will be late January through late February, encompassing most of February. And we're looking at Aquarius season. So if you are an Aquarius or have a lot of Aquarius in your charts, you're going to be, this will be more, you may find that this indicates a theme for the year. Wolf spirit. Okay. All right. So the card itself is saying turn knowledge into wisdom. And I'm getting confidence, right? Because we've all been through all the stuff that we've been through in the past few years. We have really learned a lot of lessons, a lot of us, right? And also leadership, because Wolf really has a lot of that leadership, that elder kind of energy to it. It's a wolf is very family oriented, and wolves really teach their young, right? So this is sort of a call to step forward, but cautiously, right? And a wolf doesn't really forget. Like if it once it learns something, it's, you know, if something has happened to it, it gets real cautious, right? So this is really stepping forward in your power, but doing so cautiously in a way that's having learned from all the lessons that you've brought forward, that you've been through in the past few years, and even the past lifetimes, and really, really, really bringing that wisdom into play, that hard-earned wisdom into play this month. And this can be, I'm seeing sort of like a green light of going ahead in whatever new direction that you might be going in, or maybe it's an old direction, but really taking it to the next level. And this could be career, it could be, I think for a lot of us, it could be career, it could be really stepping forward in that, but whatever aspect of life that is, even just taking charge of your own health could be, you know, something like that. Eagle is the next one. All right, so again, this is for February or Aquarius season, and especially for you if you are an Aquarius. This is the golden eagle. Again, this card is create your vision. I think the eagle and wolf go forward, like they go together really, really well here. So I'm getting really stepping into your divine purpose and having that vision of who you really are, and really stepping into your truth and doing so in a way that is very confident and with the eye on the results that you want, the eye on the kind of world that you want to create, the kind of life that you want to create, and stepping forward with confidence that the lessons that you've learned have really strengthened you, right? And that you can actually take those lessons and turn them into something. And I'm also getting connection with your guides here. The eagle to me really is a very powerful guide and very connected with source. So I'm feeling really, your guides are going to be really with you in this Aquarius kind of season this year. And trust, right? Any animal with wings has got to trust that it's got wings. Let's see what comes. Oh boy. Okay. So this is a blank coming up. All right. So I'm going to just pause this video and see what wants to come forward. I'm going to make a little sketch and add this to there. Okay. So be right back. Okay, this one was really quick, actually. I'm going to sketch it right now, okay? Because the one that came forward to me, and sometimes they take a while, but sometimes they don't, right? And this actually looks more like an eel, but it is a salmon, right? So salmon's this beautiful fish. This one's kind of a silly looking fish because I'm doing it very, very quickly. But to me, salmon is like this ultimate ascension animal, right? It swims against the current. And I'm thinking of the salmon as it comes back up the stream to spawn. And because this is like its creative, its final act of creation, right? And I think this is where a lot of us are. We've spent so much time in the past few years just learning the lessons and stuff, and we're really ready to bring it forward and create something beautiful, create a beautiful world, or at least take, do our part in creating that. And so we are actually contributing to the ascension of humanity itself, the ascension of Mother Earth. So really, whatever you feel like your guides are asking you to do, in, especially this time of year, this Aquarius is this wonderful sign of innovation and this forward future kind of energy to it. Okay, this is really going to be supportive. Whatever you want to create, envision it and feel confident that you've got source and the whole universe kind of supporting whatever it is that you're being called to create. And so this is a great month for envisioning and figuring out what you want to do and starting to actively take steps towards it. Okay, so this last month of the first quarter is going to be late February to early March, or we'll just call it March, right? This is Pisces season. So if you are a Pisces or have a lot of Pisces in your chart, this will likely be a theme for you for this year, Spider Spirit. Okay, beautiful. Following this whole Aquarius season of the visioning and the stepping forward and the stepping into your power. And here we are with Spider as the penultimate creator kind of spirit animal, right? Yes, the spider does have its entanglement, so watch for, like, again, hearkening back to January. You want to be, this is why we want to be really, really careful in January who we're hanging out with, who, what kind of alliances we're forging, because the alliances forged here in January can help to support this stepping into your creator role, your leadership role, or whatever it is that you're envisioning. They can help with the vision. They can also, that's going to really influence what you create further on. Okay, so in order to stay out of that entanglement and just kind of awfulness that the whole web idea can do, let's think about whatever alliances we have here, finding ones that are going to support interconnectedness, right, rather than entanglement. We're looking for interconnectedness, and when we're really interconnected, I'm thinking even you may experience kind of telepathic things happening, right? I mean, it can, depending on where you're at in your journey. I'm seeing even, like I'm seeing just a lot of purple, this beautiful kind of spiritual, I can see maybe coming together with others and creating something just amazingly wonderful that maybe you hadn't even envisioned. So there may be some coming together with others and interconnectedness. But again, we want to be, this is why we've done so much purification in the past year or a few years. So we want to get to this point where we can create in a safe space and create these connections that are empowering to all all of them who, everybody who's involved in that. Okay, so next one, this is for Pisces season, March. And, let's see what card wants to be drawn. All right. Oh, it's kind of not wanting to come forward. Let's see. So there may be some stickiness happening in March. So if that happens, just breathe. Go back, think about that wasp energy, just coming to center. Here's one. Here we go, Hippo. All right. Again, this is about friends. It's, just reading what's on the card. Friends stand close by to shield you from life's adventures. Again, that interconnectedness, finding that tribe is going to really pay off, later in the year in this March area. So, and I'm also like Hippo. There's a lot of protectiveness around this, okay? So even just the way they coat themselves in the mud to protect from the sun. So protecting from drying out. So whatever ideas you are spinning, you want to make sure that you kind of you might want to keep it under wraps for a little bit still, potentially. And yeah, so if you have those connections that are really working for you, that can be a really, just sort of the word stonewall is coming in. So I'm not sure quite what that is meaning, but to stonewall somebody, I think, is to just sort of hold them off until the time is right. So again, there's caution all through this first quarter, not going forward recklessly, not doing things before their time. So we want to be very measured in this first quarter of 2020, step by step, and take the time to stay centered. Self-care is going to be very important. Okay, one more card here. There's 2 blanks in my deck, by the way. This is my Spirit Animal Awareness deck. I put them in there so that if there's an animal that you really connect with that's not in the deck, that you can have it in there. But I use it just to intuit what's going to be the animal that comes forward. All right, so Wild Goose. Okay, this again, Wild Goose is a beautiful one for the whole idea of teamwork and working in tandem with others, getting things done together. This whole first quarter, it's so much about coming together and combining energies so that we're working stronger. Okay, the Aquarius, the February has a little bit more of that individual leadership, because each of us needs to really follow our own voice. But when we each really start following in our true voice, then we can work together in a way that's harmonious and that really helps all of us to thrive. And things happen that become more than just what any one person can do by his or herself. So this looks like a beautiful first quarter, and I'm not necessarily seeing a huge amount of like results happening yet in the first quarter, but it's really lining up for results to happen later on. Okay, either later on in the year, later on in the decade. Okay, and the what's coming through is like, don't necessarily, if things are happening slowly, don't feel like you're not making progress, right? But like, don't expect necessarily it's going to happen now. It'll happen when it happens. But know that whatever steps you're taking, if you're taking it, keeping in mind, what the lessons that you've learned in the past, and really doing this consciously, it will come to fruition. Okay, so I'm gonna put these aside here, and then we're going to go ahead and look at quarter 2 of 2020. Starting with April, which will be, is it April? Let's see, March, April, right. Aries season. So if you are an Aries or have a lot of Aries in your charts, this could indicate a theme for you for the year, potentially even the decade. Since this is the first year of the decade, so let's take a look. So it's April or Aries. Oh, 2 of them came forward. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Oh, look at this. Both horse and turtle for April, okay? So horse has a lot of moving forward energy. It's a lot of power. And turtle, also, I'm seeing a lot of just moving forward in April. Okay, so turtle is this big, huge, cumbersome thing, right? But I am looking at sea turtle, okay? This is turtle and slow and steady. We all know that. But what I'm looking at is the image, the sea turtle, okay? And sea turtle, even though it's great big animal that can barely, like, it's definitely slow and steady, and it can't even walk on land because it's got flippers. But you get it in the water, and it just flies in water. It's just graceful and beautiful, right? So whatever has felt slow and cumbersome that you've been building and maybe building and building, that just felt like you'd never get it off the ground. I am seeing potentially in April that things can really start to fly. And horse behind that, and just horse has tremendous power for carrying you over obstacles. For a horse has a tremendous power for change and moving forward, initiating kind of energy. So very, very powerful. Whatever it is that you're working on that you set the stage for in the first quarter, I see really taking off in the second quarter. So let's moving on to the next card for Aries for April. And that one came up right away. This is Llama. Okay. And okay, the card is talking about, and this may be good for some people, this may be, if it resonates with you, let courage lead you to seek support and overcome a fear of intimacy. But what I'm really feeling from Llama here is rising to the heights, right? Because a llama is from the Andes in very, very high altitude. And I'm really seeing you can just climb your mountain. I am seeing so much positive energy here in April for things actually moving forward and starting to see, the fruits of labor coming up in April. And keep in mind that this is going to be depending on everything that you've done in the past, right? So you're going to reap according to what you've sowed. Also that you may just be seeing the vista here, right? Climbing up to the mountain and actually seeing what's possible and actually seeing it's sort of like going over the pass, right? and actually, oh my gosh, I can actually see the promised land over there. It's there, and I know that it's downhill from here. So whether or not it's actually manifesting for you here in April, you're at least going to be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of seeing that big vista in front of you and knowing that it is yours there. And beautiful, beautiful close here to April. Hawk. This is all about, just the vision, the focus, and flight, right? And really staying focused. So it's going to be very, very important to maintain that focus here, because as long as you maintain the focus, you can maintain the momentum. You lose focus and it may kind of fall apart a little bit for you here. So just stay focused. Stay focused. You're seeing it. You're seeing the big picture. You've got that energy behind you. And whether or not it's actually manifesting, and I'm sort of feeling like this may be true of the whole second quarter. sort of like setting the stage. So we may feel some of this energy, and how beautiful it's happening in Aries, because Aries is really supporting that kind of thing, right? Aries is this whole has a lot of initiating kind of energy, and let's get things moving. So I really do see that happening. That's coming forward for May. This is Taurus season. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Okay. So Canary Spirit, sing your own song. And it really does feel like, that whatever's starting in April that's really getting going, it's going to be really in full bore in May. And just, it's music, it's joy, right? Now, keep in mind, Canary in the coal mine, right? So there may be some vulnerability there. And so make sure that you keep things pure for yourself. Eat well, because this may be a busy time. So make sure you're feeding yourself well. Make sure that you're, exercising, that you're getting enough sleep, that you're keeping yourself as pure as possible. Do your spiritual cleansing every day. It's going to be important, right? To that self-protection, because that's going to enable you to really hold those high notes, to maintain that song of yours, to really sing it out. Okay, what else do we have in May here? And look at the crown on that canary. Isn't that beautiful? It's like really stepping into yourself as like the queen or king of your life, because you are. Ooh, okay, May, baboon. Okay, this is hilarious. All right, so canary and baboon. I'm seeing some of that same yellow, right? Yellow, just really beautiful, sunshiny. Okay, what's coming forward on this card? They say, in love and declarations of passion, heartfelt communication is the key. I'm going to go with that, right? Because baboons really do have this very intricate social structure. And it is, they've got this hierarchy, and there may be some kind of office politics going on here, potentially. And I mean, it says in love, so it could be a romantic relationship, but I'm sort of getting more kind of political, whether it's office politics or family politics or whatever, and really bringing that communication, staying in your truth in your communication, which does not mean that we have to be biting or stinging or whatever. Like, you can do it kindly, but really being transparent with your feelings in when it comes to not being a people pleaser necessarily. Okay, we want to maintain the peace without just feeling like you have to be somebody that you're not. Or there may be, you may have to kind of think about what other people are telling you and not necessarily jumping to conclusions. Think about asking for clarity before you assume that somebody is saying what you think they're saying, because they might not actually be. They might be saying something completely different and you just misinterpreted it. So just being willing. All right, and ferret. Okay. Ferret, willing to go down into the depths of things and bring it back up. The ferret goes down, it'll go down to a burrow or something and do its hunting. So willing to just ferret out. There may be within yourself, there may be, maybe dark energies or whatever stuff that needs to be cleared, willing to actually look in the eye, look your own self in the eye, or it may not be within yourself, maybe going back to the office politics or whatever, really being willing to ferret out the truth and really stand in that truth. I'm seeing sort of like this Archangel Michael thing, and really truth is coming forward. So we want to bring things up to the light, right? Bringing that yellow, the light, right? Bringing stuff up into the light that's going to support you being able to sing your own song. And okay, so the next one is June 2020. This will be Cancer season. And this will round out the second quarter, of 2020. See what wants to come forward. What is this one? Whoa, electric eel. Woohoo! Bring your ideas to life. Again, a lot of this sort of just energy and kind of coming to life and bringing it forward. Look at this beautiful water images. Letting it flow. Letting it flow. There could be a lot of energy work happening here. With that electric eel, there could be some pretty fantastic, energetic stuff happening in June. So I haven't really looked forward. I don't know if we have any eclipses or whatever going on there, but wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me to find people maybe tapping into new spiritual dimensions that they haven't accessed before. Could be really an exciting month. It's coming June. But also I'm feeling like, stay in the flow. It's kind of flowing along. Allowing yourself to breathe. And the word taking a vacation is coming in too. So things get really intense. Just take a break a little bit. Maybe go take a bath. Go swimming or something. Raven. It feels like June is going to be a super spiritually active kind of month. And because Raven's like this messenger from the spirit world, you may be really getting a lot of messages from spirit coming up in June. Sounds like it's going to be an exciting month. And let's round out the entire quarter with an awareness card. Let's see what animal wants to finish up for June. Oh, look at that, 12 and 24. Okay, so I'm going to do an overview of the quarter in just a sec here, but this one's being a little shy. Oh, jeez, what did I just say? Red Panda. This is one of the shyest animals in the deck, so it doesn't surprise me. Okay, Red Panda. So secrets. You may need to find some time to yourself in June, especially with all the spiritual stuff happening. You might even want to plan ahead for June to make sure that you have some time to actually connect with spirit, to connect with your higher self. Some kind of time alone in the shade or wherever, because it's going to be intense. You will have come through a pretty intense period. And I think this is going to be really important, this connecting with spirit here in June, because there's going to be a lot of energy kind of moving through this second quarter, and especially at the beginning of it. And you're going to want to make sure that you are maintaining your integrity and maintaining your alignment with spirit. So this is really okay. You're going to see some kind of development happening in this second quarter. you may need to really dig down and ascertain the truth, and you're going to want to really consult with Spirit in terms of staying aligned with your truth, right? And so that whatever's happening here is going to go in the direction that is going to be supportive of everyone's best interests moving forward. Because when we have all that momentum, it's easy to take a misstep, right? So we want to make sure that things stay aligned. Really pay attention to your intuition and messages from Spirit in June. Okay, so let's clear these, and we're going to go ahead and move to quarter 3, which will start with July. And now we're moving into Cancer here in July. Is what? Okay, so, all right, Buffalo. Okay, Buffalo I really often see as a gratitude and abundance. It's also standing your ground. Okay, so see it however way you want it right now. I'm sort of getting like this could be different for different people, but this could easily be kind of reaping the harvest. But it's going to be really important to maintain that gratitude, whether or not you are like, you might be at this point really receiving a lot. Things could be really manifesting for you really well, or they could still be in that phase of developing, and it could be pretty early on in development too. So either way, it's really going to be important to maintain that attitude of gratitude in July, as always, but especially in July. Hummingbird. Okay, so Hummingbird, this is beautiful because Hummingbird, this is high vibration. I know this card says turn away from infidelity so love may blossom, but really I'm more getting like the high vibration of Hummingbird and the joy. It's really attracted to flowers, to these really high vibrational things. So looking at, hopefully, if you've done that going within and really connecting with Spirit in June, it's really going to bring you to a beautiful place in July. And maintaining that high vibration, maintaining that gratitude in the heart. So the energies are going to support that. Whether or not you are actually there, that's up to you. But the potential is there for really being in a beautiful space in July. And Wolf. Okay, Wolf returns here in July. Okay, so this may take you up another level, right? Wolf's like this pathfinder. He's this guide, right? It's interesting that he came up in the first quarter. He's coming up here again in the second quarter. Wolf may be the animal that's really kind of pulling us through 2020 as this kind of pathfinder. So look for the divine masculine here, right? To play a very important role this year. Divine masculine being one that sets the boundaries, that calls out untruths, right? That's a protector. So, really, you may find that there might be a very strong masculine figure that comes in, that may be a mentor, maybe a teacher, maybe some kind of protector, or it may be your own inner masculine that steps forward and is able to really help you stay on track. But maintaining that sense of so what's happening is like the masculine can sort of hold the space for all this beautiful kind of beautiful flowering to happen. Okay, so moving into August, moving into Leo season. Again, theme for you if you have Leo strong in your chart for the whole year. Starting off with Panther Spirit. Okay, reclaim your power. There's a lot of power coming forward here in this whole year, right? Stepping back in your power, stepping in your truth, maintaining the truth, staying in your power. So the wolf here, I'm trying to think what, right? Because it seems like he's really, it's like the wolf is trotting right alongside in order to assist in all this stuff to happen. And again, that word keeping on track just keeps coming forward. So Panther is this beautiful, very powerful, the Black Panther especially, well, black, doesn't matter what color. Panther is just like this incredibly, I'm thinking jaguar, black jaguar. Incredibly powerful. And what I'm getting is just to like reclaim your power, yes, but don't expend it in frivolous ways. So part of reclaiming your power is to be aware of how you're spending it, how you're expressing it, and making sure that that's in ways that are going to be supportive, right? Making sure that they're aligned in your use of power. Moose. So again, this is a lot of power coming forward in Leo season here this year. Okay, moose is the biggest member of the deer family. It's huge. And I'm thinking the way that moose feeds, they like to feed on kind of algae and stuff. You'll see them a lot sticking their head in the water. So I'm really feeling, especially with the Black Panther, especially looking into, again, this intuition, really staying in tune with your intuition, dipping down into it frequently, because that's really going to nourish you moving forward, through this, starting into the second half of the year. Maintaining that intuitive connection. Oh, beautiful. Okay. And again, dolphin, another water animal. This is like kind of balancing the power, and dolphins are incredibly powerful, but they know how to have fun and play, right? There's a lot of freedom, a lot of joy. Okay, so key to this is going to be breath. Don't forget to breathe, and whatever that means to you, whether it's physically breathing or, coming up for a breath of air once in a while if you're working on something really intense, make sure that you're taking your rejuvenation days, and don't forget to just touch base with people sometimes, like your family. Like if you haven't called your mom in a long time, maybe call her, or, get outside, have a picnic, whatever, invite a friend. Just make it a little lighthearted, because this power can get very, very dense sometimes. It can feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. And remember that we have others that we can share that load with, and it becomes, work can become fun. It can become play, especially if we share that load. Okay, and here is for whatever, July, August, September. All right. Life is speeding up. That's beautiful. So, yeah. And again, I'm sort of seeing this a recurring pattern a little bit of kind of going within and sort of being measured with your power, and then all of a sudden speeding up, just like we did in April. We've got this speeding up again. So this could be a really interesting year ahead. But antelope is a herd animal, so it's not going to be flying out there all by itself. And this really may be about kind of this collective ascension. We may see a jump in that. More and more people coming on board with being connected with spirit. Rhinoceros. Rhinoceros has this okay, I'm going to read the message. Still the chatter within to see your true path in life. Which I think, from what I just said about more people coming on board, I think that's relevant. But what I'm really getting is, first of all, the magic horn, right? It's a symbol of like fertility, actually. One of the reasons that rhinos are so endangered is that they're hunted for their horn, and it's an aphrodisiac. So there's this kind of life force thing happening. Fits with that speeding up. And also the interconnectedness. There's a symbiotic relationship between this bird who picks the ticks and things off, and it also, so it gets fed, and the rhino gets, relieved of the ticks. So it's really staying in your genius zone, right? And allowing other people to be in their genius zone, and you can help each other, right? You don't have to do it all yourself. So there's this symbiotic kind of partnerships that may be shaping up here in September. And let's look at this one, turtle again. Beautiful. Okay, and again, this is sea turtle coming up. And what I'm getting for this one is just this sense of kind of confidence. I think that came up in a different month too, but just this letting go and letting the water take you, going with the current, and just enjoying the flow, allowing yourself to just swim with the current. It looks like he's swimming against maybe, but I'm just sort of getting swim with the current, allowing the currents to support you, allowing the water to support you. Okay, again, water, letting spirit support you, and letting these partnerships support you, right? Again, you don't have to do it all yourself. Okay, so this will be, I guess that's Libra season, isn't it? I think so. And clear these out of here. All right, so last quarter of the year going into the fourth quarter. No, I'm sorry, it was Virgo season. Or I'm getting very confused. Let's see. What else do we have left? Libra. Scorpio and Sag. I guess that was Virgo. That's right. October would be Libra. Sorry, I'm not an astrologer. Can you tell? Okay. So, oh, beautiful. Dove spirit. Dove, of course, always represents peace and love. It's this beautiful animal. Let's see what else it might be saying. That 21 is coming forward. I'd have to look up the numerology of that, but 2 and 1 is 3. Kind of this trilogy, this feeling of, 3 is such a magic number, but that trilogy is a very stable in its own way, if you think of a 3-legged stool. And this kind of unity happening. So you may find that this October may be a time where a lot of this stuff has come together, that things feel a little more peaceful, a little more stable. That you're really flying in a beautiful way. Dolphin again. Loving these animals that are coming forward more than once. Tune into the rhythm of your breath. Find stillness and patience, peace, stillness. Okay, so I'm feeling like things are really gonna, in some ways, for a lot of people, may come more kind of on track, so you're not having to run as hard, right, to keep up. Or it may just be, and it depends, this may be manifesting in different ways for different people depending on other things in your life, right? So for some of us, it may be just a call to really seek peace, or to get still and look for that peace, okay? For others, it may be that you're resting on your laurels a little bit and able to coast just a little bit after a lot of activity. And finally, this is the last one for October. Tiger. Okay. He's sort of king of the jungle, even though we think of the lion, but tiger has this kind of regal quality to it. And that sense of just kind of owning it is what's coming forward to me more than anything. That sense of just being in your power. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And next one is going to be Scorpio season. It's going to be more or less November, late October through late November. Elephant. A lot of very, very powerful animals that are coming forward all throughout this year. And this is like this ability to move mountains. And I'm also getting slow and steady here. Like an elephant can go on a rampage, right? Or it can very meticulously, and it can pick up tiny little things. So but it can just, I'm getting this idea of building or really moving mountains for something to happen. I'm not even sure what that means, and I'm assuming that we'll find out. But I'm also getting kind of like elephant. This is elephant as a partner with man, right? So maybe it's, your innate power partnering with your higher self vision. It could be physical things really aligning to do the bidding of the spiritual. There's a lot of ways it can manifest, and we'll see what it turns out in your life if you listen back to this. And this is the next one for November. More tiger. All right. It's just like, this is just a super powerful year. Holy cow. Okay, tigers are able to take like really huge leaps forward. And they've got this orange and almost like lightning kind of pattern to them, but the orange, there's really I'm getting creation, a lot of creative stuff, okay, with the two tigers and the elephant. That orange kind of sacral chakra stuff, kind of stuff. This is really creating in a very powerful way. And what we're going to want to really be careful of, like maintaining that sense of peace and a little bit of a sense of flow and joy is going to help with this, because there's a lot of fire, and we want to, I think tempering that is going to be helpful. But I'm getting a positive feeling for this. And so we want to kind of watch our steps here in this latter part of the year and making sure that we're very grounded. Bee is a beautiful animal here because the beehive is like a heart, right? The bee is, and I'm going to be working on a bee deck coming up in 2020. So I'll probably be posting a lot about bees. But bee really, more than any other animal, I think, really demonstrates the kind of coming together in kind of a 5D sort of existence, right? And being able to really work together in ways that create a lot of abundance. It's very, very divine feminine kind of energy, and we've got that divine feminine in the elephant as well. I'm kind of losing my voice here. But it's also powerful energy, and also I think this reiterates, like, stepping carefully, making sure that we're not misstepping, because it is a lot of power. And using that power in constructive ways and operating from the heart, right? Really check in with your heart. It might be good to do a lot of heart resonance work going into that November late part of 2020. Squirrel. All right, so going into December, hold my nuts and watch this. Okay, so believe in yourself, right? Okay, so squirrel has a reputation sometimes for being squirrely, right? But I think it's a really nice kind of lightening up of all this huge power, and just, okay, let's just throw some nuts around here and see what happens. You may be coming into, like, you may have reached this point where, okay, you're in your power now, and now let's start playing a little bit. Let's start throwing things around and see what happens. This can be, I'm sensing, maybe the beginning of a new cycle, because, like, part of the creative cycle is when a creative cycle begins, we have to kind of throw things around. We got to throw some paint on the paper, throw some words on the page, and see what happens, right? See what grows of it, and see what directions those can come into. So this could be the beginning of a new creative cycle here in December, and just having the confidence that it may be a little bit different direction, right? Have confidence that wherever you're being guided to go, wherever Spirit's, suggesting that you might want to try something new, or, try branching out in another direction, have that confidence that you've got what it takes to do it. Okay, sloth, interesting paired with squirrel, right? Consider the smallness of your needs and treasure what you possess. Interesting paired with squirrel, right? Because they're both arboreal, they're both tree animals, right? I'm thinking kind of tree of life is coming to mind, but a lot of in the air, stuff might be in the air. And squirrels, this real energy of throw it around and take flight, right? If you think of a flying squirrel. And sloth is completely the opposite. It's kind of holding on. It's very deliberate. So this is kind of like this balance of energies, and you may be drawn in one direction or another. And again, that may kind of harken back to some of these symbiotic relationships where you can maybe have a partner who's more grounded, right? If you're the squirrely type, or maybe if you're a very kind of like methodical person, you might find a partner who has that kind of mental agility or whatever's happening. I'm seeing that there's a lot of potential here for something new and fun and amazing to happen, or at least get started in December. Let's see what the final card is going to say. But even though it's sloth, this one looks like it's really going places, right? Because usually you'll see them hanging, but this one is really actively climbing upwards. And it's really got its eye on something too, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, the other blank card showed up. Oh boy. Okay, so I'll pull this again here. Okay, elephant wants to come forward again. So, let's see. Draw an elephant here. Okay, what I'm getting is this vision of elephants holding on to each other's, like the tail of the other elephant. And I started drawing before I got the full vision, so. And again, this is just a really quick sketch, right? But like an elephant family unit here. And a baby elephant. But I really kind of got this vision of like a whole chain of elephants with their tail and the, you know, each one holding on to the other, holding on to each other. And so I'm getting again this whole idea of partnership. I think it's going to be coming forward more and more as we move forward into this decade, is this idea of symbiotic relationships, of partnerships. It could even come out as telepathy, as really moving together as a unit. The bee really speaks to that, you know, this bee energy. And even though we may be exploring and having a lot of innovation happening here, there's still that kind of partnership idea with that elephant coming forward and moving together as a unit, this whole family of humanity idea, which may in certain ways be manifesting more than others on Earth, but I think we're setting this stage for it, planting seeds, right? For that, like I'm seeing, okay, here's what's coming forward, is you know, that's that being that ultimate, being able to move forward as a whole family of humanity. And I'm seeing this sloth really climbing up and having that vision, that higher vision of being able to see that as an actual potential, you know, possibility, or something that actually is happening, it's going to happen. And then the squirrel planting the seeds for that. So I'm seeing a lot of beautiful stuff happening for the collective here, but possibly, you know, in your own world as well. Okay, so I hope this has been insightful for you. I hope that it's that you've enjoyed it. But what I suggest is doing, if you can listen to this every month or every quarter. What I found when I did last year's was I started listening to it every quarter. It's like, holy cow, that's interesting how that's all panning out. So it'll be curious. I would love to hear your comments as the year progresses on how this stuff unfolds. So if you would like a personal reading, please let me know, because I would be more than willing to do a personal reading for you for the year, just like this one, and see what comes forward for you. I'll leave a link to that below, and I'll I'll just kind of give a special offer for that. I've never done that before, but if I'm just getting called right at this moment to offer that. So if you are interested in that, I'll just put that link there and shoot me an email or something. And otherwise, take it easy. Have a wonderful, safe, and happy new year. Thank you so much for watching and for holding out this whole long way. And I'll see you in 2020.